Hello, YouTube friends. It's Nicole here, Nicole Hewitt Creates, and it's been a while. I know I've only got one video up so far. This will be potentially the second or maybe the third, depending on which way I record and post. But I have been absent for a while. There's been a lot going on in our family, in our businesses, and then we've had Christmas and New Year. Well, there's also been stuff going on, and I've done a little bit of traveling too, so my apologies, but there just really wasn't the right space and time to share with you any projects. But today I'm sharing with you two lots of mail. One of them here is this lovely, we'll call it happy mail, and it's come from a lovely lady named Karen, who is in Kate in the Nest's Facebook group. And if you don't know Kate in the Nest, she's a YouTuber. She also has the Facebook group. She's brilliant. She's absolutely lovely. She's such a joy to watch, and she does fabulous things. And she's very inspirational with what she does with her slow stitching and creating these all sorts of things. And some of the things that she makes, in fact, a vast majority of them, are done on beautiful pieces of old blankets. And so we've all kind of fallen in love with this idea of using a blanket as a backing. And I certainly have some blankets, but what I didn't have was the pieces of blanket of the color that is going to be in here, hopefully. So I'm absolutely sure that this is going to be, I think, well, green is what Karen was sharing. So what Karen did, the lovely Karen, went into the Facebook group and said, I have this blanket, I have lots of it. She'd got it for a really great price, like I'm talking well under $10 from memory, for the whole blanket. And she wanted to very generously share it with others. And all we had to do was pay postage, which I think is exceedingly generous. So in here, you can see I've pulled it to here. So I haven't peeked, and I've been itching to open it for the last few days. It has been sitting here, patiently waiting for me to have a moment to be able to share this with you. So here goes. I'm just going to carry on opening this, and I've just covered up that bit of Karen's address there, because, and on the other side will be mine, so I'm not going to flip this over. Oh yes. It is this beautiful green. Oh, and there's a little bit of mail in there, so let me just take that out. But just look at that. Now, green might not be your thing, that's okay, but it is, oh, it's lovely. It's got a lovely blanket stitch around the edge. It's a beautiful tartan. And I haven't seen anything like this here in Queensland. I mean, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's just that I haven't found it. There's lots of pinks and orange, and I've got lots of blues in blankets, and I've been very fortunate to be able to find those. But this one here is green, and I said it would be amazing. Oh, so I'm just opening this up. Oh, so what Karen has said is, hi Nicole, happy stitching and hope to see your creation on Kate in the Nest Facebook. Regards, Karen. And then she's thrown, look, she's put in some extras. And you know what? I don't have any of these. Some people, oh my gosh, what are they? Oh my gosh, I know exactly what they are. Hang on, it'll come to me. And a lovely hand-stitched little heart there. Thank you so much, Karen. I don't know whether Karen's a YouTuber, but I will definitely be messaging her and thanking her for this. So some people call these yo-yos. I think is it Americans that call them yo-yos? And I think here in Australia and maybe England we call them something else. And that's the one I'm more used to, but of course that's the one I'm forgetting. So I'm very grateful for those. And look at that, isn't that sweet? It's very, very sweet. So lots of deliciousness. So what I'm going to, let me just step these aside for a moment. They are really beautiful. Thank you, Karen. I said to Karen, could I please have a certain size? And this was the size this was the first size I asked for. I'm going to create something that I've made another version of, and you'll see that in a separate video, which I've been working on for a while. I just like creating sort of these little pouches, and you can use them for all sorts of things. and do some slow stitching and, you know, appliquing on, whether it's other bits of vintage fabric, or I'm really into scraps of Liberty at the moment. So I've got lots of scraps of Liberty fabric, and I'll show you in another video what that's about. And then this one, you know, can be used for all sorts. So she's given me a second piece, and whether it's a needle book I create or a little wallet, that's something actually I've made just recently, is a little, it's only this size. It's an open, sort of like an open pouch, and it's all appliqued, so you wouldn't see that bit. But then if I made that, say that's two sides, which would leave me then this much fabric left over, with which I could potentially make one or two little needle books, you know, if you imagine that size folded in half. Anyway, I'm probably not showing and explaining very well, but that's really beautiful, and I just love this green. Oh, it just reminds me of forests in England, so I'm very happy with that. Thank you, Karen. And then my very first purchase from Green Door Studios, and Kate in the Nest, who lives in that same area. It's the in New South Wales, there's an area called Southern Highlands, I think it's called. Lots of actually YouTubers who are into stitching live in that area, and I must go there. This is in Green Door Studios is in Robertson, which is New South Wales in Australia, so it's a completely different state to where I live. But I will get there one day. I absolutely will. And for now, I have to make do, because what the Green Door Studios, they have open days, which look fabulous, where you just go and drop in, and I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 hours. You must perhaps pay like a fee to go, and there's all these lovely ladies, and I think it's primarily women. I haven't seen any men yet, but that doesn't mean they're not invited. They go and they stitch for the 3 to 4 hours, take their own projects in, and you know, they can share and learn and be inspired and just be in a beautiful stitchy environment. And they also have visiting artists and tutors. So I know that Fleur Woods goes there, the Roxy Journal of Stitchery ladies have just been there, and many others. There's all sorts of things. I think there's an upcoming kintsugi workshop, which I would absolutely love to attend. So kintsugi has been on my list for, I'm going to say, at least 10 years, which sounds really quite tragic, but I'll show you. One day I might show a project of a broken piece of beautiful Royal Doulton that I have. And I've always thought I will kintsugi it, and that has been broken. The hands of the couple have been broken off now for, I'm going to say, more than 11 years, possibly 12, and it breaks my heart, but I'll get around to it one day. Until then, I shall continue with my slow stitching. So let's see, these were all purchased, I must say. So these are not gifted, not that I expected them to be, but just so we're clear, these are not gifted at all. These are little treats that I allowed myself to purchase because I was having a little bit of Green Door envy, I've got to admit. And look how lovely it is. So that feels like, I know I ordered some wools and some pieces of fabric packs. Do you know what? I've actually probably forgotten what is in here. So isn't that just, it's like, not like Christmas, but it's like Christmas because I don't really know what I'm getting. So let's open this up. And a beautiful drawstring bag, which guess what? Oh my gosh, and look, I'm so sorry. Isn't that beautiful? The Green Door. That is so beautiful. So already I'm thinking I will definitely do some stitching and applique on there, but maybe a little bit of this wool blanket will make its way on there, and it will be a primarily beautiful, densely green with maybe some pops of colour. Definitely not red because I don't want it to look Christmassy, but won't that be beautiful? And then I'll have a beautiful drawstring bag, and that will be another project that I will be able to share. So I'm sorry, we're a bit close up at the moment. My camera setup isn't as good as I would like it to be, but I'll improve it over time. Oh, this is very tight. Oh, look at that orange. Oh my goodness. Oh. So let me just pop those to one side at the moment. Beautiful. So I've had, apart from anything else, I've had a little bit of orange blanket envy because I'm seeing people, you know, YouTubers who've got the most beautiful orange blankets, and, you know, not necessarily like this, but it's just such a beautiful, vibrant colour. And when I saw that Green Door recently had updated their shop, and they were selling off blankets and various other things, I just said, oh, even though I told myself don't, because I've got loads of blankets, but I haven't got orange. It's like I hadn't got green, and I don't need a lot, but something to be able to do a project with is better than nothing, right? So I'm going to open this because I've got to see. I don't what size it is. Oh, feels so good, and it feels different to the blankets that I have, which is nice. They all feel different, right? Now you're not going to be able to see the size of this, unfortunately, but if sorry, I've taken it off screen a moment. Let me see, I've got a ruler here. So if I'm pretty much, so it's about 24 inches in width. And again, apologies for being off camera. I think it might be something like, so that'll be another, so it's probably something like 4 of those, 40, 44 plus another 8. So it's something like 50, 52, about 52 inches in length. That is a beautiful size. I mean, oops, sorry for knocking the camera. Yeah, it's, when I say it's way too big to make, what I was thinking was I could make a really lovely big bag out of it, which I could, but I think that would be excessive. But if I wanted to, I could make something, you know, there's the edge, about yay big, and a nice deep bag. Who knows? So that is a beautiful piece of orange tartan blanket. We'll just pop that there. And then they had these great little packs, and it was a bit of a lucky dip. So you ordered one of these wool blanket pieces, and there are 6 in there, but you have no choice about what pieces you get, and that's okay, because sometimes having choice is no choice, right? Because we end up procrastinating, or I know I do anyway. But oh my god, so that is beautiful. Look beautiful with that, but look at this. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love this piece. I think I've actually hit a winner here. Very, very happy with all of my pieces. That is really thick. That piece of blanket is super thick. Oh, I'm really happy with all of those. So thank you very much, Green Door Studio. And then, let me see. Oh, what's in here too? I've got a little card. Oh, hi Nicole, thank you for your order with Green Door today, and Zoe. So I haven't met anybody there. I'm sure lots of YouTubers know who Zoe is, but I will say thank you, Zoe, and I will meet you one day. I will come down there and I definitely will meet you. And I think these might be little gifts, because I certainly didn't order that. So I think this is a lovely new, not new, sorry, a lovely little additional gift, a bit like how Karen popped these in, which is really beautiful. How beautiful people in the sewing community, and particularly in the online creative world. I just find the generosity of spirit and feeling a bit emotional, but the generosity of spirit and the connectedness, even if you've never met each other, you're on opposite sides of the world. I just found the most beautiful connection. So there you go, get lots of oxytocin from my connection to beautiful people all over the world in the sewing community and in the creative community in general. So here we are. As I said, I'm pretty certain this is going to be the wools in here that I ordered. Ooh. So all colours that I don't have, and I really wanted some oranges, and I may or I may not use the oranges on the orange blanket. I think I will, of course I will, because I might just go completely, monochrome. keeping to all the oranges and make it really, really textural. Then again, I may not. And then there were these beautiful, I think this was something like, I can't remember if that was called Sky or ooh, I might be, I'm going to be wrong, whatever I say. And then I just got one of these darker ones, so you can see there's a difference, but they're all blues. And then this lovely one they're all variegated because they're hand dyed. That's not the only reason they're variegated. Obviously, somebody created it as variegated wool. But this one here has got lovely purples and reds and, you know, sort of almost into browns. I'm not going to call it brown, but yeah, that looks like a brown. So that's really lovely, absolutely beautiful. And then, because recently, so as I said, I've been doing quite a bit of travel, and I checked on Australia's travel regulations about what you could take in terms of scissors on a plane. And I had little snips, you know, and they have this tiny little end on them. And all I use them for is just snipping a bit of, you know, wool or thread or whatever it is that we use. And it made it on multiple journeys. I've travelled from Brisbane to New Zealand numerous times with them. I've travelled from Brisbane to Sydney with them between Christmas and New Year. And then when I came back from Sydney, still in Australia, to New Zealand, back to Brisbane, they confiscated them from me, and all of the amount of discussions around they were allowed was for naught. They took them anyway. Now, thankfully, they weren't terribly expensive. I didn't, you know, I just had these a couple of dollar snips, but I was concerned about being able to do my hand stitching on the plane because that's what I love to do. Anyway, I have since travelled with longer nose, you know, the stalk scissors. I've been travelling with those. So I recently, where was I? I went to New Zealand and I recently travelled with them, and I didn't get them confiscated on my way to New Zealand or my way back. And they had a much longer blade than the little snips, but still well within the Transport Authority's regulations. But to ensure in future that I never have snips or scissors taken from me again, I have invested in these cute little things that quite frankly remind me almost of baby scissors that you have, you know, to cut your baby's nails. And then I remembered that actually I probably had some of my granddaughters left over. I'll just grab them. But they are longer. But one of the big things was about it having a pointy end. So a lot of people talk about, you know, having these round nosed scissors. And here's a pair of, you know, baby scissors for cutting baby's nails that my daughter had for her daughter. And they just happened to have been left here because my office was my office for many years. And then my family moved in for a very short while whilst they transferred interstate. And my granddaughter slept in my office. So they were in here and they got left behind because then she matured a little bit more and they went on to clippers with her. So there you go. So I did think, yeah, I could maybe try those. not that I want those confiscated either. So that's my little share for today, and my happy mail that I'm very happy with. I'm absolutely thrilled, and I just cannot wait to do some projects and to show you and properly begin to share. I'm not going to make any commitment about the regularity with which I'll share because like a lot of people, I have a heck of a lot going on in my life, and sometimes I have absolutely zero control about how that looks. So between running the businesses and all of the additional needs in my family, it's a lot. So if you're here, thank you so much for watching. It was just a little share today, but I can't wait to come back and share with you what I'm going to create with just some of these pieces. Thanks so much. Bye.